Good afternoon, YouTube, and welcome back once again to Fat Cat Collections. Another amazing release today by Nubeo, and this is their newest release, the Icebridge. Absolutely love this watch. I like this so much, I will be requesting more. Excellent, excellent wrist presence. It's different, it's outside the box, and I absolutely love it. So I'll come back and show you more close-ups here throughout the video. Also do some on-wrist shots, show you guys what this looks like on the wrist. And I'm really gonna get some high-resolution macro kind of images, kind of some video footage while we're doing this video. So kind of watch all the way through. Don't miss that because you're gonna see a lot more close-up shots, right? So let's begin with what you get. So this watch here, the entire case, the entire crystal, so to speak, is made of crystal. The entire thing is made with K9. And so K9 crystal is a type of glass used in a lot of different applications. Let me just read you just directly a little bit about K9 off Google, right? So the hardness of K9 has a Mohs rating of 7. So it's extremely scratch resistant. And I also want to touch on a video that Ben's Watch Club did quite some time ago about scratch resistance in the different type of crystals. I think it was a fantastic video, despite the fact that I'm not really a fan of Ben's Watch Club. I think a lot of his content is extremely biased. And some might say that about me as well. But I'm going to tell you why I feel that specifically with that scratch test later on into the video. But he did do a scratch test rating, and his findings kind of confirm what I've been saying for many, many years, is that just because you don't have sapphire, and companies do make a full sapphire cased watch, it's a lot more expensive. If you want to go that route, you can. Different brands, I'm not sure who makes them, but you really don't have to. And the point of doing a scratch test like that, at the end of the day, all of these crystals had an extremely decent scratch resistance, with of course sapphire being the best. Now when we compare sapphire to the other types of crystals out there, it is not a difference like you would find in an acrylic crystal. An acrylic crystal absolutely is going to scratch a lot easier than any of the other crystals on the market. And some of the crystals on the market are K1, you have Cristerna, we have Harlex, we have Flame Fusion, that's an Invicta brand, and some of these specific models like Cristerna is something proprietary to, I believe, proprietary to Sterling watches, right? I think that's a Sterling branded type of crystal. Invicta uses Flame Fusion. I don't think you'll find Flame Fusion on any other brand but Invicta. What else? We got Seiko's Hardlex, right? We have a sort of sapphire coated type of crystal, not sapphire. So there's lots of crystals on the market. K9 I've never actually seen used in a watch crystal itself, although I thought I did. Maybe I was confusing it with K1. At the end of the day, having a scratch resistant of 7 on the Mohs scale is extremely good. And if we compare that with some of the results that that Ben got in his tier list, the acrylic glass they had a rating from it's S, A, B, C, and D. I'm not sure why. I think sapphire was kind of like the top tier, so they kind of use that as like the pinnacle. Then we have A, B, C, and D. So acrylic glass is something that is used in a lot of watches, right? And so they do have listed poly watch. And so I believe acrylic glass you can actually polish out. Now the advantage to having an acrylic glass is, one, you can repolish it, right? And two, it's going to be most shatter prone. So a lot of folks never talk about, they always talk about scratch resistant but not shatter resistance. And I feel like having the best of both worlds would kind of put you in the middle with crystals. Now, some folks may argue that, but anytime you have something that's extremely hard, usually it's at the cost of being shatter resistant. Now, I'm not trying to plant the seed of doubt in anybody's mind. Any one of these crystals, whether you go with the sapphire or you go with the acrylic, are all going to give you a level of scratch resistance. But if you're looking for the best scratch resistance, absolutely that's going to be sapphire. However, in these tests, all the other types of crystals still performed extremely well. With, I believe, let me just see exactly which one. I have to scroll back here. It wasn't until they got up to like the number 9 scratch pick that you start to scratch sapphire. That's something that you have to purposely try to do. And most of the wear and tear you're going to put your watch through, you're never going to come in contact with anything quite that hard to scratch your watch. These scratch tests are using these tools as a demonstration to demonstrate how scratch resistant the watches are, what these watch crystals are. So Flame Fusion, he has listed here that Flame Fusion, and this is kind of my complaint with guys like this, is that K1, Seiko, Hardlex, Cristerna, and Flame Fusion all were rated B, which isn't really true because the other watch crystals did not perform as well as Flame Fusion. It's, again, biased reviewers, biased guys who just simply don't like the Invicta brand. And I'm not trying to go off a tangent about Invicta here, but they basically he didn't even know the Invicta Flame Fusion performed better than the K1, the Seiko, and the Cristerna, because it still scratched at the 6 level. Even though it was scratch resistant at the 7 level, he still lumped it in with the rest, which is kind of inaccurate, right? It would have been, I think, proper to retest there as opposed to just saying, oh, I scratched it with number 6, but yet the 7 pick didn't scratch it. Oh, it must be a 6. I think it would have been better to redo the test. But again, my point in mentioning this is that a number 7 on the hardness scale is extremely, extremely scratch resistant. And you are most likely not going to scratch a watch made of a type of material that has a Mohs rating of 7, right? Absolutely, there is the potential you can bang this on something and shatter it. It is going to be less resistant to wear and tear than something like stainless steel. However, this has better scratch resistance than stainless steel. The only downside I'd see, again, to having a case like this is that if you are clumsy, this is something you can break. At least with a watch crystal, you are sort of protected by the bezel, protected by the case. This is out in the open. So if you're super clumsy, this probably isn't the watch for you. I tend to take care of my watches, so I don't see myself having a problem with this, and I absolutely love the look of this. Very cool, very innovative. It's a great idea they did in using K9 as opposed to Sapphire to help keep the cost down and to get an amazing watch like this in the hands of average people, right? So what else do you go with this? Durability on K9 is known for being durable and not scratching or chipping easily. K9 crystal is produced by heating it to a higher temperature and then slowly cooling it to avoid inconsistencies. The uses of K9, of course, used in watches, chandeliers, and optical lenses. Generally in optical lenses, they use a higher grade, higher clarity type of crystal. It is 15% lighter than leaded crystals, of course, and chipping. It says K9 crystals may be slightly more prone to chipping than Swarovski crystals, but the level of durability can vary depending on the manufacturer, right? So, with that being said, you might go to Temu, you might go to AliExpress and see watches that are similar. A lot of times the affordable watches that you see on those websites, just be very clear, they may not be K9 crystal. They might just be a plexiglass or some sort of acrylic type of case. And that's cool. You're going to get a certain look with that. I know Invicta makes some watches that are sort of an acrylic type of crystal, but you're not going to get something that has this clarity. And this, again, it's like a piece of art. It's absolutely stunning. I love what they did with this. It is a beautiful watch. And what really, I guess, fascinates me about this is that, in the world of stainless steel watches, it's really nice to have something just a little bit unique. And I think that's why watches that are made of wood are pretty popular. People just always want something a little bit outside the box, a little different than something they have. And if you are a guy who has a lot of watches like me, you're always looking for that next best thing, that next unique type of material, whether it be Damascus steel, sterling silver, very difficult to find. Not many watches are made in sterling silver. Gold, of course, extremely expensive, but then you have a lot of really great plating techniques with the different colors you can get nowadays. Putting aside gold and rose gold, but you have like blues and reds and all the different colors. So I think this is an amazing addition to the Nubeo lineup. Absolutely love it. Now they do have it in a couple tinted variations. They have it in the brown, which I will review at a later date. I have that watch. They have sort of a let me go back here. They have a black, which is like a smoky black. Then, of course, the red is just basically this watch with some red accents and a red strap. The sky blue is beautiful. You have a sky blue tinted crystal, yellow, green, and then sort of more of a darker blue. Absolutely stunning. I wanted to go with the white because the white really showcases the nice clear, the clarity of the crystal. Very cool. Now, do I have any kind of gripes with this watch? Not really. I think they really knocked it out of the park. I think the only thing that would be kind of cooler, I think this watch movement would have looked, this movement, again, it is skeletonized, so you see right into the watch. It is a very colorful, busy face. But I think a nice variation with this would have been a hand-wind ghost bridge version, where it really opens up the crystal and you could see all the way through it to your wrist. I think that would have been a really great addition to make the watch very airy. But overall, this thing is awesome. Another great addition Nubeo did on this particular watch is finally they did one of these I don't know what you call it. I'm going to call it like a butterfly style clasp, where once you set the watch, you can just take it off like a regular bracelet watch. These two tabs is basically fold in, and I've never, in all the watches I have in my collection, I've never had a butterfly type watch that's been this nice, or I'm calling the strap a butterfly type strap. I'm not sure what you actually call it when you have a strap type watch with a buckle. We'll call it a buckled strap, but I've never had one like this. And this uses springs in here. There's like a tension spring in the middle, and these just basically snap into position. There's no lock on them. There's no, nothing to fold over and click. They just work. They just snap closed, and it works perfectly. And of all the watches that I have similar type of buckles, none of them have had this sort of spring-loaded type system. And it's really easy to put on. I love that you don't have to keep putting wear and tear on the buckle itself. Super fast, pop it on, and you're good to go. I know this is kind of like common sense. You guys know how to put a watch on, but I think it's a really great addition. They could have just done this with their standard buckle style like they do on all their other Nubeo watches, but love the fact that they did something a little bit outside the box, and I hope that's something they continue to do with some of their other models. All right, so let's talk about specifications and the inspiration on this. Now, these are only limited to 50 units, right? That's not many. And this is NASA's Operation Icebridge, known for its groundbreaking research in the Arctic and Antarctic regions. Inspired by the mission, the Icebridge Sport's automatic feature, the Icebridge Sport Automatic features the K9 crystal case, which boasts a diamond-like clarity and purity in its high refractive index, ensuring mesmerizing reflections with minimal light distortion. Very cool. 50 piece, that's it. So get it while you can. So right now, this watch is on sale for half off. And what Nubeo does a lot of times is I just wish they would change this, but hey, it is what it is. I'm not part of their marketing. Like I say, I'm marketing their watches, but I don't pick the prices. So they do have a code on here. You can use my code as well. It's a Fat Cat Collections 50 off code. Use my link, which is in the description. But no matter which code you use, I prefer you use mine, but it doesn't make a difference. It's a trackable link, but you're going to get half off. This watch is going to run you about $910 right now. Is that worth it? You have to make that decision on your own based on the specifications of this watch, which I'm going to get into next, and if you do really like it. Now, there is one complaint I have. This would have been really cool if they did one in a kind of a neon green and some of those more neon colors. Neon pink crystal, neon green, maybe just something kind of 80s-ish. And I think that you're going to find they might do something, after I say this, they might do this watch in maybe a Space Invaders version, because some of the Space Invaders versions were very colorful, very 80s, very loud. I think this in a neon green would be awesome. Now, there is also a type of material that I wish watch companies would make a watch out of, since we're on the subject of my ideas here, and that is, what is it? I have to look it up. It's something I've been wanting to add to my collection just as like a display piece. I was just looking this up the other day. Hang on, give me 1 second, folks. All right, so what I think would make for a really awesome watch, a really awesome addition, is going to be the uranium glass. And so uranium glass is really cool. Uranium glass, when you put it under black light, just completely glows like it's from outer space. And that's kind of the idea, and during this video I've probably thrown a picture up here. That's kind of the idea I get when I think of that neon green. So, but overall, awesome, awesome watch. Let's talk about specs. So unfortunately, Nubeo always does this with their movements. They just put Japanese automatic 3 hands. We don't know what it is. But based on my experience with this brand, usually they're using Miyota's or NH series. But again, if this is a deal breaker for you, let me know. I will get you the information. But based on previous watches and previous models, hopefully you can see this here. Usually they are Miyota movements. I like on the back of this that they didn't overbrand it. They have Nubeo on the rotor, and then right across the back, they just have sort of like this iceberg, and then it just says Icebridge. Very cool. This watch hardly has any Nubeo branding on it. Again, you're always going to get a little branding on the face, a little bit on the clasp. That never bothers me with any watch brand. But I like that this watch it's super slippery, right? It just feels super smooth, and it just is very unique. 42 millimeter case size, not an overly huge watch, although anytime you have a watch that's got this barrel-sized case, they're always longer and they look bigger. Number 42 is just going to be kind of at the top bezel measurement here. 51 millimeters lug to lug, and this is what I love about this as well. The case thickness is 18 millimeters. Huge, nice, tall wrist presence. Definitely going to be able to see this sucker on your wrist, sparkling in the sunlight. We have applied indexes with Japanese Super Lume. Again, K9 lens. The entire watch is made of K9. 31mm white FKM rubber strap with butterfly clasp. I didn't screw that up. I guess it is a butterfly clasp. 110 grams on watch weight and 3 ATMs of water resistance. Box. You folks know I never get too involved in the box. It's a cardboard Nubeo box. No more, no less. So what are things that I don't like about this watch? So what I don't like about a lot of these watches is that I'm always questioning the longevity of rubber, silicone, and like isofrane, all these different type of material, these rubber-like straps. I don't know how well they hold up, you know. So I have so many now that I really hope that they stand the test of time. I always feel more comfortable with stainless steel just because you know it's never gonna, it can last forever. Whereas something like this, I have an old Casio from the 80s that the entire case completely crumbled off it. So the longevity is always a concern to me. And when you have something that's proprietary like this strap, you know, if this ever fails, if Nubeo is not around, or they may not even make this anymore, you're not going to be able to get a strap for it. So I always feel like watches like this could potentially have an expiration date on your Joy. Absolutely, when you have a stainless steel watch on bracelet, or any type of material on strap other than these types of materials like rubber, you know, I just don't know about the longevity. I think I would feel more comfortable with leather on this. Leather, generally, if you take care of it, will last forever. That might be the same for rubber. I guess we'll just have to kind of put it to the test of time. But I do prefer when companies make watches, they do make standard lug widths. Whereas if you had a standard lug width and not a proprietary strap, you could, if it ever failed, easily get yourself a strap. Sometimes they may not look exactly the same as when you got the watch, but you're still going to be able to wear it and enjoy it. So hopefully that's never going to be a problem with this brand, and hopefully, or with any brand for that matter, hopefully this brand continues on making straps years down the road for folks who did buy these watches and want these to last 20, 30, 40 years. I think that is totally reasonable when it comes to buying a watch, no matter what the price point is. You know, I think a watch can last you a lifetime. You don't have to spend thousands of dollars on a watch, $20,000 just to get something that's going to last forever. That's a false, it's a misconception. That's a false comfort that you think that if you spend more for a watch, it's going to last you forever. I have watches that are 20 plus years old that still work just fine. So, and they weren't expensive watches at all. So just kind of keep that in mind. Now, not to plant any fears of doubt in anybody's mind, a lot of people do buy watches with the intent that it's not going to last forever. And I'm not saying this won't. Absolutely, the watch case isn't going to go anywhere unless you break it. The movements are very reliable nowadays. But my only, and I say this with every watch that I review on rubber, silicone, any of those type of materials, there is always the concern. And I'm always going to express that concern. But overall, at least for now, it is awesome. I can speak to all the other watches I have, like all the other Nubeos, although they're within 2 years, so it's not really a good representation of rubber and these types of materials. When we look at like one of my Invictus, which is on a silicone strap, I've had that over 7 years, 6 or 7 years now, and it looks perfect, and I don't see any signs of deterioration. So, you know, that does give me a little bit of peace of mind. But this is a spectacular watch. The other thing that I love, that if Nubeo would just do this, is to start making some of these amazing watches with the option for stainless or gold or whatever, you know, a stainless steel type bracelet that would fit these different models. You wouldn't have to go too crazy with the features. I think a lot of their like Magellan watches do use this type of material. It'd be really nice to have maybe a watch that, or even this is an idea for Nubeo, is to maybe make adapter links for their watches where they can sell these things and say, hey, you know what, this also comes with a, you know, K9 adapter, or even a stainless steel adapter would be okay, that would basically fit into this case and then allow you to put, you know, in this case you could probably put like maybe a, let's see what we get here, a what are we measuring there, 24mm I think would be okay, 24mm strap, and to make these adapter links included on all their watches. If they didn't want to include them, they can go ahead and say, hey, we're going to sell this as an addition. And this way, every single watch they make, and this is for really any company that makes watches like this, every single watch I make, people would have the peace of mind to saying, hey, you know what, this strap looks great, I love it, you know, but in 20 years, if something happens, I can go ahead and use my adapter link and just go ahead and shop any strap I decide to put on there. Something similar. At least it would still give you the ability to wear and enjoy the watch you spent your hard-earned money on. So that's my 2 cents on it. So Nubeo, take it or leave it. Other brands, take it or leave it. Overall though, this watch is absolutely stunning. This is one of the models that, you know, when I place my order with Nubeo or any of the Dartmouth brands, there's always the ones where I'm like, oh man, I'm excited to get these. Cool, right? But there's the ones like this that get released, like a perfect example. Upcoming release, right? Beautiful watch, another Nubeo. Excited to get it, happy to do the video. Not as excited about this particular watch. This one I was really getting giddy about. Just so you guys know, here is the brown. I just want to give you guys a quick little sneak peek. Absolutely stunning. I love the brown as well. They're just really great watches. Get a couple more shots here, and then we'll throw it on the wrist, show you what it looks like. Man, super unique. All right, so let's throw on the wrist. I have mine preset here, pre-sized. I use the number 3 link from the smallest hole. I have a 7-inch wrist, so if you are a guy with, I'd say, a 6.5, you could get away with this on the small setting. Anything under that, you're kind of out of luck. If you're huge, this has got tons of room to grow. Actually, I'd say a little too much, but hey, it's all right, right? Throw it on the wrist here. Very easy to put on, snap it closed, very comfortable. And, you know, when you put the extra material and lock it down in these little loops, it's not all flopping all over the place. They did a good job with being able to move these little, I don't know what you call them, little buckles, up far enough. See, like normally some watches, they put this kind of like, I don't know, where the watch actually connects to the lugs. Sometimes this is too wide, and so as you start to move these up, you don't have enough room to move it up to actually hold down the strap, if I'm making any sense on this. I like that it's not all flopping all over the place. Great looking watch, absolutely. I mean, I hope you can understand my excitement with this particular model. I like it so much, I'm definitely going to have to request the black and maybe the sky blue. It's very icy. Absolutely stunning. So again, if you are an RM fan and you're looking for an incredible quality watch, that again, it is a little, like $900 is still a lot for a watch. I am trying to work with Nubeo. They haven't got back to me yet on this to try to get more of a reasonable coupon code. What happens is with my coupon code, if you use their code at 50% off, which generally their watches are always on sale. So if you see this for $1,800 and there's no coupon code, you can always use mine. So the going rate on this is always going to be $910 unless they do their blowout sales. And then sometimes I see Magellan's as low as like, which just has a similar price point, as low as like 250 bucks. So be a smart shopper, get them for the best price. I don't think this one's gonna last. I think they are gonna sell out on this, so I think the price on this isn't gonna come down. But we'll see, time will tell. If I do see the price drop, I will put a YouTube post up and maybe throw a comment in the Invicta Addiction watch group. But overall, I mean, super cool and just a real nice addition to my collection. Thanks for watching, folks. Let me know if I can help in any way. Drop me a comment or drop me an email. Do subscribe to the channel and take care.